from around the net and into your home or car or plane or train or boat or wherever you're joining us from. This is This Week I'm Learning, the podcast where the topics are ever so gently researched, and the researchers sometimes forget they should be researching. Oops. This is Season 2, Episode 9, 39 overall, recorded March... I put 33rd.
Wow.
I like that.
I mean,
33rd. The 33rd.
I mean, speaking in absolute maximums, we're actually March 370th right now.
That's actually a fair statement.
Yeah. March 22nd, 2021, and I'm your host, Brandon Vader, also known as Dracanis. Joining me today, down below, Psychonitrous, also known as Cody Stratman. Diagonally from me, Mr. Colton Roper, also known as Seeker4761.
That's me, oh my gosh.
That's the amount of milliseconds that I have researched today.
Oh, no.
Sounds about right.
4 seconds research, all right.
Directly across from me is Mr. Charlie Stifler, also known as Mjolnir. So,
Greetings.
how's everybody's days going?
Oh, that's not a good day to ask that question.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Just another day that ends in Y.
Don't ever look at the news, people. That's probably the best advice we could ever give. Is just live in a ditch or live in a cave and just remove the internet.
Live in a ditch.
You know what? It's all the same. It can't be any worse than the hellscape we live through today.
That got darker.
I actually have good news. So as of Friday, I am now fully vaccinated.
Hey!
And went through
As of this last Thursday, I am also fully vaccinated.
Ah, fuck.
Vaccinated
I'm the only one.
high five with the arm that's painful because of Moderna arm.
I've got some good news. Colton and I actually fucking met last week. Had a blast going to the zoo with him and his missus, and my missus and my children, and had fantastic lunch together. He does, in fact, exist. I do have tactile proof. Shook the man's hand, even though he's not vaccinated. I am. It's fine.
We live
Also,
dangerously down here.
by the way, research came out this week. Not a single documented case of surface to infection with COVID-19.
What?
Zero cases of surface to infection. So, you know, the hand washing, the deconning, all of the surface PPE that's not an N95 has done a fantastic job of eliminating influenza this season, but has done nothing to prevent COVID, which I'm completely fine with. And frankly, if it got people to wash their hands for even 1 year and knock out influenza for a year, it was worth it. But
Wait, so
Just
that
sing the Baby
means-
Shark song, guys. That's
that
how
means
how I remember.
we can touch our eyes and mouth? Yeah!
Please don't.
Ow, that was dumb.
Hey, quit that.
We're now a Vor Gore channel.
you know what's actually funny is I can't wear contacts because I can't do that. Like, I'm not successful. I can't.
Oh.
Really?
So I'm actually going to get my eyes cut sometime in the near future. So no more of
that
these
stings.
at some point.
What's
Did you
weird
just
is
touch your eyeball
Yeah, of
to
course I
prove a
did.
point?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, I put
You're
in contacts
fired.
all the time, but I don't touch. I touch with the clear
there we go.
salinated freaking
That's better.
contact, and it's actually pretty easy. But the few times I actually touched my eye without,
I can't get close enough. My eye reflex is too strong.
Just pry
Same
your
here.
eye lid open.
yeah,
Yeah, doesn't work. Doesn't work.
Do you see the
There's
shape of
some
my
people-
eyes?
there's some people who have trouble with that.
I can't do that, Cody.
That's
Anyway,
racist.
we have gotten off on a tangent already. Okay.
You asked us how we were
that's enough of
doing,
the
and
eye
this is
crap.
what happens.
Yeah, I shouldn't have. That's
ever-
my bad. That's my
Don't
mistake.
ever. What have you learned, Brandon?
I
Don't ever
won't
care.
do it again. I've learned that apparently
never.
today is
So
the 33rd,
finally,
and we should move on.
you learned a lesson in one episode.
We'll see.
All right.
We'll see if
Yeah.
I
Our
remember
final
next
episode.
week.
This whole thing was an experiment to
No.
get Brandon to learn that.
Nope.
Thanks for watching, guys.
See you next week.
Bye. I'm just kidding.
So anyway, getting us back on track, or trying to anyway. Cody is going to tell us about, no, you can't have your consoles or more because you didn't plan ahead.
That's
How
right.
rude.
And more importantly, Colton's going to tell us about Autobahns in space.
Excellent vibrato.
That was space. Charlie is going to tell us about how he can see clearly now because the panel is clear. And I wonder if I should have sang that. I think I was supposed to sing it.
No, I don't want to get
little-
copyright
I can
struck.
see
It's fine.
clearly now. The panel is clear.
Whoa.
You're welcome.
He needs...
Okay,
Flippy
I know
our
I'm supposed to
singer.
sing the next one, or be electronically synthesized in saying it, but I can't, so I won't even try. Intergalactic planetary rotors?
The fuck, Brandon?
Yeah, but I don't expect a lot from him considering he researched for 4.7 seconds. Yeah, it's going to be nice. So, with that, Cody, please start us off.
So anyone here, kind of want to get a PlayStation 5? Or, probably not with our group. How about
I would take one.
a new video card?
Eh.
Really? None of it? Wow.
I do want a new Xbox.
Okay.
I could use a new
Yeah.
video card.
Well,
I'm definitely PC Master Race for sure, but the new Xbox, if I was going to get a console, Xbox has always been the base console that I've like my original consoles, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Saturn. Shout out Sega Saturn if anyone had one of those.
wow.
It was fantastic,
Obscure.
by the way. I loved that thing. And then had a single PlayStation 1, the mini one. Xbox 360, Xbox One. Yep.
Well, now that we know that Charlie is the consoleist of all of us,
Yes.
what about a car? Does anybody want a new car, or maybe has just
I
recently?
want a
My
new
new
car.
car.
I actually
have my new
really,
car, and it's wonderful.
I actually really do want a new car, and
But I think Cody might be leading us somewhere, guys. I feel like he might kill
Well,
our dreams of
you
cars
are lucky.
and consoles.
So pat yourself on the back for being lucky, and no, and no, and well, no, because
But I want
kinda
one.
Yeah, me too. So
Damn it.
does apparently a lot of people because of this year. I'm just gonna call this plus 2020 the same year because, like he said,
332nd.
yep, March 370th.
Well,
73rd.
70 or something. 73rd, yeah.
Yeah, March 33rd.
The year that's never will end. 33rd. That's still my way to say it.
33rd.
33rd.
So what's happened is the perfect supply and demand fiasco. So first of all, let's talk about supply. So when you look
Is this an economics lecture? Cody, tell me this is an economics lecture.
gosh, gee willikers.
God, for me,
I'm so excited.
kind of, but no. God,
Oh, thank God.
probably not.
Good.
Me and finance, we get along like oil and water. Like, yeah.
Macroeconomics, baby.
Only under heat.
Or maybe turtles
With an emulsifier.
and the
Like
soda
mustard.
rings. Yeah, that's how well we get along. Anyway, so for semiconductors, also known as computer chips, microchips, there's a few major foundries around the world. There's TSMC, which is the big one. There's Samsung and Global Foundries, which is the last one is actually located in the US. The other two, can you guess what the market share of, we'll just say TSMC is?
88%.
I was going to say like 75%.
Okay,
not
you,
I was going to say like
60%.
40%. I was going to say 40%.
you are too low and the other two people are too high. So it is 56%. Samsung is 18%. And then
Oof,
our
really?
little pathetic Global Foundries is 7%. And then you've got UMC, which is a Chinese company, which is 7%, and then SMIC, which is another Chinese Chinese foundry, which is 5%, and then you've got a bunch of random other ones, Texas Instruments, stuff like that, that are equate to 7%.
TI-89!
Woo! 3D graphing.
Playing Doom.
Anyway, so what's happened over the course of years is before, back in the olden times when IBM was the computer that was ruling the universe, I mean, who would have thought that would have changed? They used to have to require to get their silicon from 2 different foundries. So we basically doubled up in case there was supply issues. Now, over the years, that has changed. And because it's not cost effective. When you look at the cost to start up a foundry, it used to be 25 years ago. So that's 1996, if my math skills are correct.
Unfortunately, it is correct.
That's sad for all of us here.
The 90s were 10 years ago, guys. Stop it.
It wasn't even that long ago.
That's how time means nothing.
Right. So 25 years ago is $1 billion with a B. That's half of that aircraft I was talking about last year, or last episode, not last year, the B-2 bomber. So half of a B-2 bomber 25 years ago to start up a foundry. This year, guess how much it is?
I'm going to go with 15 billion.
5 B-2 bombers.
15 billion.
And Colton is correct. 5 B-2 bombers, or $10 billion, will get you your own foundry. So people aren't really, wanting to spend that or have an extra amount for a risky business as a foundry. You have to be on the bleeding edge of technology. You have to be able to rapidly change. You have to have a set of highly skilled workers to set this up. And maybe you'll get a cut of the profit from these huge companies like TSMC, Samsung, Global Foundries was 7% in UMC. So nobody really has. So this is kind of the supply issue. And what's happened is this is kind of the precursor to the perfect storm of issues with getting your video card, PlayStation 5, or even car. What also happened is the trade war with China. So a number of these Chinese manufacturers, so mobile has gone crazy over the last 10 years, and we all know about that. And it's only been 10 years since really most of the world has gotten smartphones. I know there's been some early adopters like you two up there with your iPhone and your everything else, I'll say, including even an iPhone at one point. I remember. I know, it's dirty. Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. Yep. But because of, the mobile ramping up, you've got companies like Huawei that bought a ton of TSMC's supply early on to try and hedge their bets and make sure that they've got it. And in the U.S., over the last probably 10, 15 years, there's been a new mechanism of delivering supply called just-in-time, which basically means all of the stuff arrives at the factory so you don't have to store it, and all of the stuff arrives, basically lowering warehouse costs, but everything arrives right just in time for the production to happen. Well, because there was no gap when COVID happened around the world and shut down these giant foundries for a little while, everything got backed up, which created this insanity. So now let's talk about the demand side. So originally, 2020, when people got laid off, people weren't buying cars. There was actually a huge auto market shortage. So the car industry slashed like half of their orders for new silicon because they didn't need it. They were going, okay, we don't need this. Let's cut that. Meanwhile, what happened is, and I know this for a fact because of what I do for work, we had everybody else go crazy for work remote consumer electronics. So laptops, webcams, like the crappy C270 webcam that I have that's a 720p webcam went
using the
for
same thing.
over $100 for a while, which was insane because of the demand. So you had that. You had all the companies preparing for remote work, buying tons of electronics. So then you go further in the year. Now people are at home. You know, the reality of being stuck at home, COVID's starting to hit. Anybody with money has decided, oh, I want a new TV. I want a new game system. I want a new, you know what, now it's time to buy a new phone. Apple had to delay the launch of their new iPhone by 2 months because they didn't have enough supply. People argue that Sony should have done the same thing with their PlayStation. But, you know, it's hard to argue that whether they made the right call or not by going, hey, you know, we've got a limited supply, we're going to let people have it. And then you've got another thing that's hitting demand too. It's happening at the same time. And this has been, if you've been around during the surge of 2017, you know about this. Cryptocurrency.
Yay, fake money.
Kind of. The fake money actually has more basis than real fiat money, but we'll get into that another day.
Virtual money.
Yeah. That has more in common with the gold standard than you know. Anyway, before we get on that side topic, you've got people that are mining cryptocurrency like crazy. NVIDIA actually even put out a, was it a patch? I can't remember if they built it in. Basically, so unless you had a monitor plugged in, you could not, the card wouldn't run at full throttle. Well, you know, $6 little dongle later to plug into your video card, and guess what? You can now use NVIDIA cards to mine cryptocurrency again. So that went away. So now you've got the video card industry having to, people basically scalping all of these cards and stuff because of the demand. So with the low supply, the low demand, the auto industry, finally people going, okay, we've got money, we've got our jobs back. I've got an old car, I would like to have a new car. Well, guess what? Auto industry actually needs chips too. A $10 chip will make it so your $30,000 car is completely worthless. So you've got this entire industry that is stuck because of this. And this industry is so far backed up that it's going to be probably 3 or 4 years before we're back to normal regarding all of this. I will say that President Biden has actually endorsed, he's basically attempting to get a new foundry up and running in the U.S. So I'm intrigued to see how well that goes. That'll be interesting, but that's going to take years before it's really off the road. So we're still behind a few years.
It's just another example of humans not planning ahead in any decent way. I mean, obviously, the just-in-time manufacturing, again, it makes sense at the time, but I don't know. It's just another thing.
There's no robustness.
We didn't plan ahead, so now the fix is going to be a lot harder to do because it wasn't taken care of years ago.
True, but I mean,
it's just typical. It's typical of it's what we do.
In a way,
reactionary instead of preparing.
It's still hard to criticize just in time because it lowers waste. You don't have like every time I go to a computer store, I'm really sad. I'm going, wait, how are you guys gonna like off shelve these video cards from 2012? I guess this year, that's how you're going to get rid of them.
Just-in-time manufacturing isn't just like the tech industry. I'll go an example of what happened in Gunnison a couple days ago during that snowstorm that shut down Colorado for a little bit. Well, yeah, but Elliot's another one of our friends. He basically, and maybe Brandon can attest to this as well, but it seems like a lot of the Gunnison's a small town in Colorado that's essentially fed by two roads. Well, it's the same road, but two sides of the mountain you can actually come into the city. And because of how deliveries work, they were having trouble getting shipments to grocery stores and also the Walmart. So,
well, the Walmart planned ahead.
Well, yeah, but there you go. They planned ahead, so they had shit. And that's another thing that's happened is grocery stores, because of it's cheaper, again, to not have storage, which makes sense at the time in the event of a shocking event, like the deliveries being shut down for a few days. Essentially, that can have ramifications through an entire system, which happens. That is part of what it means to live in a society. Yes, you can, if everything's running smoothly, great. But in the event of COVID happening, of a surge in crypto, anything like that, the entire system falls apart.
And what makes it even worse, too, is when people see shelves that are empty, they go crazy.
They freak out.
We know this from
they buy more stuff.
Toilet paper wars of 2020.
Right.
I survived it, as we all did, but barely.
And
guns.
Actually, toilet paper is a perfect example. The fly-by-wire nature of, I don't need to have 20 gallons of water stored. I don't need to have 3 months of canned food in my cupboards. I don't need to have a month's supply of toilet paper. But when I see the insult coming, I need to go get those things because it might be a while before I get them again. And then you have this artificial surge that happens right before.
I mean, it happens before every major storm, too. People freak
Bread
out.
and toilet paper.
Peanut butter and always toilet paper, which, of all things to grab, that
Again,
does not make sense.
Just get a bum
Take a shower. Gun. I mean, shit.
Like this country. Bum guns.
But,
they're
Cody...
awesome.
In a loss of utility situation,
you're not gonna use a bum
water is a scarce resource. Like the people in Texas, bum guns wouldn't work because the water didn't work.
True.
It's
Go out and
probably
get you a nice
somewhere
handful of snow.
Somewhere in the middle, as it always is.
That'll wake you up.
Don't eat brown snow.
Grab a handful
coffee.
and just ew. Nasty.
And on that brown
just
note,
had to do that.
let's
All right.
Colton.
Autobahns in space.
Hang on, give me a minute.
He needs a minute after that.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my minute by switching topics.
That was the worst transition
Okay, well,
I think we've ever
let's change
had.
it. Jesus Christ. So, before I start, Brandon, what are you drinking right now?
Oh,
Because I only
this
saw the
is-
blue, and it looked like freaking window cleaner. It wasn't. I just need to know.
No, he just wants to
It's,
shit himself for the next day.
Okay, I figured it was Mountain Dew because
it's either that or
company-
Windex.
I was gonna say that company creates colors that aren't possible in the normal spectrum. So I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
I mean, it's like, hey, you know that
It's Mountain Dew Frostbite.
nuclear green color that's supposed to indicate radioactivity? Why don't we just sell that as a
Put
soda?
that into a drink.
People seem to think
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
And it's delicious.
It's
Oh,
the
my
best.
Its main ingredient is orange juice
Yep, number one ingredient.
in regular Mountain Dew. Yep.
So
That
strange.
almost ruined Mountain Dew for me when I learned that. I'd never actually looked
There's
at
healthy
the
shit in
label.
Mountain Dew? Fuck no. I need it to game. It's to give me that energy to
I
hone
need
noobs.
caffeine.
Well, I will say this: Mountain Dew will prevent scurvy.
That's probably why
Ideas.
I've never gotten scurvy.
It's not my topic, by the way. So,
Oh, thank God.
What if I told you guys that there is a vast network of invisible energy structures that has actually been discovered in our solar system?
I bet you're right because you lightly researched it.
You would be
Dark
right.
matter?
No. Actually, technically, it's already been discovered. It's been used for a long time, but turns out in November, astronomers and astrophysicists from Serbia submitted a paper claiming to have found a true celestial autobahn that is within our solar system. They actually studied millions of objects in the solar system, specifically their orbital paths, and were able to discover. Hang on. They were able to discover this. Can't really see it.
Whoa!
Just grab
I
it.
don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, honestly, I don't fully understand
It's
it
like
either.
his drink.
But this is probably the first off. The paper is called the Arches of Chaos, which is honestly the coolest scientific paper name I've ever fucking heard. Roll a d12 to move to the Arches of Chaos. That is so fucking cool. But basically, this is a graphical representation of it. Specifically, this is Jupiter's Arches of Chaos. Again, you have no fucking clue what it is. I still don't fully understand.
Yeah.
But basically, these cosmic arches essentially represent the future of space travel between orbital bodies within the solar system and beyond. They are actually gravitational manifolds that emerge between celestial objects in the space-time continuum.
Are you talking about Lagrange points that are not just a fixed point between objects, but like a pathway of Lagrange where you can use the gravitational force to neutralize your
I am glad
vector?
you mentioned Lagrange points because they are actually they are an important part of this entire system. As you know, Lagrange points are essentially a point in space between celestial objects where the gravitational forces essentially cancel each other out. So from the perspective of one of those celestial objects, there is no gravitational movement. It just is a fixed point between two bodies. And basically, if you think about general relativity, special relativity and everything, and how we understand gravity as of now, you think of the gravity well of a celestial body being able, that is what gravity is, kind of, not really,
spherical.
but that's kind of how it's it's represented. An object falls into a gravity well and is actually affected by gravity. But when you think about it, if you take two gravity wells and kind of put them together and think about what a Lagrange point is, there is more of a...
It's a balancing point between the two. If you're using it's a lycra. It's a gigantic metal ring with a lycra fabric, and you have a weighted ball in the middle, and you throw an object, you'll actually see it begin to orbit. It's the two-dimensional classroom way to demonstrate gravity. And
right.
Masses.
And when you think about those two wells interacting together, it's not theoretically, it's actually proved, there is essentially an area where gravity cancels itself out, sort of. It's more complicated than that, and again, lightly researched. But the astrophysicists' websites that I've been searching on this seem to be blowing up, because literally this was discovered in November, and then all these sites are posting great things about this discovery in December. So this is brand new shit that they've discovered. What allowed scientists to actually discover this is they've noticed comets and other smaller celestial objects are pretty stable orbits in the long term, but every once in a while they'll just get randomly thrown off, which again we kind of understand. We've actually used this particular system to launch our satellites. I mean, Voyagers 1 and 2, the only reason we were able to get as far out as we did and keep going is because we were able to use the slingshot effect. No. But this discovery kind of implicates that NASA has only tapped into the very basics of this entire network of gravitational wells. So basically, these celestial autobahns are are points in space and paths in space that allow for objects to travel at significantly greater speeds than what was previously thought possible. And we're talking on intervals of decades. And this is again where it gets confusing, but the way these slingshot effects are kind of calculated, it's on scales of like millions of years of well, just calculating and double checking everything. But they've this particular system, and particularly Jupiter, they were able to figure out that every decade or so, give or take, depending on where Jupiter is on its path, there seems to be this path of gravity that just is able to slingshot items at a very what do you call it? I guess consistent rate. And it does have to do right around the Lagrange point area.
So you have a launch window every decade,
give or
to
take,
achieve
and this is
super speeds.
Yeah, kind of. It's not. Yeah, for just super speed and like, and we're not talking light speed or anything like that. We're talking savings of months between planets and savings of years between the inner planets and the outer planets. So it's not huge, but because of the consistency and another thing is every planet has these particular arches of chaos. And what their scientists have kind of been able to figure out, or at least they're theorizing, is that because of these relatively consistent intervals, interplanetary travel can actually be done at significantly quicker speeds and with significantly less time sink. So that's kind of why they're thinking in the future, spacecraft are going to be able to actually utilize these super highways to save millions of miles and millions of hours as well. So yeah, it's not light speed, not anything like that, but within the next 20 years, scientists are thinking with increases in supercomputing, because that's something else that's interesting, is to actually calculate these trajectories and also figure out the exact point of Lagrange and everything like that. It takes a shitload of computing power that only recently supercomputers have actually started being able to accurately predict. And because of these predictions, they're actually able to find, they're calling it fuel-free travel between planets. Because again, NASA's been using it, this concept, the slingshot effect, to get significantly more speed than for essentially free, using just the gravitational wells. But they're thinking theoretically that because of how comets work and other things like that, that a very incredibly tiny amount of energy can be used if you're able to calculate a trajectory pretty much not precisely, but may as well be precisely. If you inch it like nanometers in a certain direction, you can get quadrillions of times of energy compared to what we were able to before.
Yeah, it's just planning.
Yeah. And
but
again,
we already determined humans don't have foresight, and we
true.
suck at planning, and occasionally we program landers in meters instead of feet.
Well, the key is you just got to listen to the smart people and maybe kind of get on the same page. Which
okay, whoa!
I know
we don't
that's
listen to those
the real
sci-fi
stuff
because
we're
they
talking
always
about here.
feel like they know it all. Just because you went to school for immunology and you've been, the field leader for 40 years doesn't mean you're not trying to implant a chip in my arm. Come on.
Hey, to be fair, I studied like 3 YouTube videos about this shit, so I'm pretty sure I get it, guys. So come on. So again, why should we care? So as I said, interplanetary travel theoretically can be a lot faster, but in the near future as well, it also helps us determine, I guess, near Earth objects as well. Because again, Earth has its own arches of chaos. So theoretically, if we understand these particular intervals, we can push an asteroid that's coming to us with almost zero energy into a completely different orbit and able to throw it completely out of the solar system, so it's never
Throw
even
it at the Martians.
if we have to use it, like there are many possibilities of understanding these orbital paths. The possibilities are actually endless. But in terms of
next, you're going to be telling me that we're not going to need to put oil drilling people on an asteroid that's coming.
Oh, that's still going to happen.
You're going to tell me that we don't need oil workers to do that?
That was a prediction. That movie is gospel. I'm just saying for NASA people. It's a good movie. Terrible science, but good movie. So, again, not necessarily revolutionary, but the implications in the long term.
Movies.
Yeah, the implications in the long term can mean the space junk problem that we're inevitably running into, because again, humans don't plan ahead farther than tomorrow, and not even. Can the amount of energy needed to actually fix that problem could be almost infinitesimally small compared to the amount of benefit that we can get out of just by studying these new orbital paths that right now seems to be just destroying old physics. Well, destroying old ideas of orbital models. So, cool shit. Don't understand it. Arches of Chaos is why I even read the actual science paper, and that's again the coolest fucking name I've ever heard of.
I mean, Arches of Chaos is good, but it's not a mosquito doing 8.2 Mach.
Scientists just have awesome ways. Like, people, like, you think of, like, people making fun of nerds and all that shit, and then they turn out to come some of the coolest people in the world coming up with these awesome comparisons and cool names for shit.
Don't actually listen to smart people here. Come on.
Maybe that will be the next evolution in humanity. But that's what I learned this week. I don't know it at all. But it was interesting enough that I'm going to be paying attention to it for the next, years at this point, because it's fascinating, and just because of that cool name. But Charlie, what the hell are you talking about, bro?
I am talking about semi-transparent solar cells. So we have been developing semi-transparent solar cells for about a decade now. And unfortunately, they're only about a third as efficient as traditional silicon. That's why I thought our topics were the same. Wafers. And so these are actually made out of organic material. So, they have carbon in them. If you took OChem, like some of us were forced to, the bane of my existence. Why are you moving your mouse around wildly? No, that's a raindrop on your screen. I thought it was your mouse tracking on your screen. I was like, what the hell are you doing, Cody?
I just want to do distraction. Look, distraction.
Clearly, I did not take my ADD meds today.
It even rains in paradise. Who'd have thunk it?
Wow, he's moist. Who knew?
It still looks beautiful, though.
Anyways, so what's interesting about the current study that I saw in a headline on Science Alert, which is not necessarily known for its, not clickbaity material. That's fine. Semi-transparent solar cells can power greenhouses without stunting plant growth. So we have now gotten to the point where these semi-transparent solar cells can be, built into the superstructure of a greenhouse, and specifically, lettuce grown under semi-transparent or transparent organic solar cells show no drop in yield. Nutrient content of lettuce grown under S2E39, otherwise known as solar cell made out of organic materials, remain unchanged to control. Several OSCs with unique spectral transmittance result in similar lettuce yields. Adding DVRs to OSCs can increase power generation and improve thermal management. So basically what they're doing is they're using non-visible spectrums of light as their solar absorption. So the UV and IR spectrums get absorbed by the panel, but not the visible spectrum. So they have about a 30% drop in transparency. So the weakest sunglasses you've ever worn ever are about 40%. So they do offer some solar protection to your eyes, but they're definitely not something that you would want to wear. For instance, my sunglasses that I conveniently have on my desk, these are 90%, which means they only allow 10% of the visible spectrum of light through, thus
you can't wear
dimming.
them at night.
No, I cannot. That would be bad. That would be very, very bad. But what's interesting about these particular solar cells is that they've achieved efficiency records between 17.3 on the upper end and 10%. The previous record was 10.1% efficiency. When we're talking efficiency of solar cells, we're talking about the amount of solar potential energy that is landing on the cell actually being transmitted or translated into current that is usable current. And a normal solar efficiency on a brand new installed solar system is about 18%. So they are currently making organic photovoltaics that can do 17.3. That is a game changer. What is a further game changer is organic solar cells are an order of magnitude cheaper. They use organic renewables instead of harsh chemical silicons. They are potentially 3D printable. They are flexible, and the drawbacks though are that they can be very fragile and brittle and can potentially not have the lifespan of a traditional silicon panel. But the offset is they are so dirt cheap to make and effectively recyclable that it doesn't really matter. So there's a lot of research being poured into this. A lot of research.
It seems like even if they're fragile, because all I'm thinking about is like skyscrapers and how many damn windows those things have.
Absolutely.
You tie that in.
Idea.
Even if they're brittle, you just take two regular pieces of glass, which don't stop any light. I mean, they do, but it's negligible, right, and protect it. And then you have free energy that'll, I don't know if it'd pay for all the energy of a skyscraper, but
so
even
17%
is better than
that's
that.
That's the tip of the iceberg, because devices like this, you make the screen brighter and to overcome the dimming effect of the lensing material. Yes.
Smart glasses.
Smart glasses that can charge themselves by being outside. Absolutely. Cell phones that charge themselves. Yeah, there's that fiery ball in the sky that really makes you regret your life.
Probably shouldn't even. Yeah, just throw this out. Outside is bad.
Yeah, the only reason why Colton is in fact alive is because he's a night shifter, because he moved to the surface of the sun.
It's true.
I'm actually impressed. We went to the Tucson Zoo and he didn't burst into flames.
Ah, God.
I'm impressed.
It's true.
Did you guys go to Pima? Okay, sorry, off topic.
What?
Pima?
The Air Museum.
No.
Yeah,
no.
Next time.
We went to the Tucson Zoo, and then we went to Claim Jumper for lunch.
Tucson Zoo is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
I like
it. We saw a baby elephant. Yep. And a jaguar.
Now imagine if we could power baby elephants with these photovoltaic cells.
Now we're talking.
See, that's big brain galaxy thinking right there. I don't know how.
Right. So one of the things that I've thought about frequently about with this is, where are most of the wind turbines in the United States? They are on the borders and on the edges of farmland because they don't take up a lot of surface area footprint, and farmers can lease them to the energy companies for additional income. What if they were to do the same thing with now their crops and have a tall, stilted superstructure that can hold the solar panels off the ground enough that a cultivator and a tractor and all of the farm machinery they need can pass safely underneath and at no risk to the operator?
They'd have to get all of their water for it by irrigation. They couldn't use any rainwater.
Yeah.
And by removing a lot of the evaporative properties of infrared and ultraviolet, you might actually decrease water loss in crops. And for the most part, those people are already irrigating their crops significantly, but making the photovoltaics sufficiently weather sturdy so as they don't like shatter in a, I don't know, tornado or hailstorm that would never happen in Kansas or anything.
Yeah,
so
that part of the country
that side of the spectrum is a little bit more wishy-washy, but the skyscraper that powers itself with its windows, the
car,
the article is specifically addressing
something that's really popular down here in Tucson and Arizona, and I'm guessing it's in other hot places as well, is covered parking, but essentially they're solar panels.
Yep. I saw that. And I saw a buttload, and I mean a metric buttload. That's 126 gallons, by the way. Or 128 gallons, excuse me, of covered parking, and these panels were, I mean, easily 6 parking spaces in the air. They're huge.
And I'm just thinking, like, if they're orders of magnitude cheaper, like, I mean, that's why the government down here in Tucson, they've had initiatives to actually, all government covered parking essentially will have solar panels on it. So you make it cheaper. I'm just thinking, like, even the 30%, and again, going with hot places, the 30% decrease in sun coming through,
that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, lower energy costs in terms of AC because, well, there's less stuff. There's so many things that this can do.
There's a very big upside.
If the problem is fragility, the upsides will make it economically viable quickly.
Right.
They'll find a way to make it happen.
Yeah,
and the fragility is eliminated when you live in a place that doesn't have weather like Tucson. Like, when was the last? Shut up. When was it the last time that it hailed? Now, I'll say this. I did experience something fucking hilarious. We were driving into Tucson. This was a week ago, Monday night. And we were driving in about 9:30 local time. So not daylight savings time, because why would they do that?
Smart.
It's one thing they do right. Anyway.
No, actually, the rest of the United States is talking about switching to daylight savings time permanently. That would leave Arizona in the dust, as it were. Haha.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it's okay.
That there was a winter storm warning on the highway message board. Winter storm warning. I'm like,
it happens. It snowed twice this year.
52 degrees, and I'm like, what? Well, we were in fact the only prepared vehicle, because not only did I have a snow shovel in the back of that minivan that I was driving, because I had to drive out of the Colorado snowstorm, Snowpocalypse 2021. But we also had auto socks, which are basically fabric tire chains. So we were the only vehicle in the city of Tucson that was actually prepared for said winter weather. And, it was grapple for 45 minutes. Corn snow. And it was gone in 13 minutes after it's finished landing.
The oranges could have died, Charlie. That's the real problem.
He couldn't get his Mountain Dew.
No Mountain Dew could have been made. That's the real tragedy that could have happened.
Travesties, clearly. But, so, all right. Intergalactic planetary rotors, and I'm timing you to see how long before you give up.
Oh, God. So, let me open up my
already
5 seconds. That's a record.
So, of course, you guys have all heard about NASA's Perseverance Mars rover, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. How many of you knew that it has a little mini helicopter on it?
Yes.
I only just learned that.
It's going to achieve the first powered flight on a other celestial body, and it's fantastic.
Yep.
I saw this as I was quickly scrambling because I had a week off of work. Today was my first day back at work, and I meant to do a little bit of research like I normally do when I have a lunch break. Yeah, 104 emails over the course of a week.
Excuses
Gone.
are like armpits. Everyone's got two, and they all stink.
And most are hairy.
That's the.
Yep.
Lame.
Yep.
No, we're not going there.
Uh-oh. Crinkling? Huh? Anyway.
Don't worry about it.
So,
Yeah.
Yep. I just realized what you meant. Okay, so Perseverance is going to be dropping off this little mini helicopter that is called Ingenuity. It is a 4-pound, 4-blade rotorcraft, hence the intergalactic planetary rotor. And it's basically there to test to see if it can be done. The atmosphere on Mars is, 100 times thinner than that of the U.S.? Yes.
Versus
US.
New
US,
Zealand,
Jesus.
where it's like not
Earth.
I mean,
sorry.
Gunnison, you could argue that
All of
Gunnison,
Earth is
Colorado,
US.
is a good point for that.
Oh mercy!
It would only be like 98 times thinner than here.
Actually,
But yeah,
probably
so
less. Yeah,
Give or take.
like 40.
I don't know. That would be interesting math to do. Math boy, Colton.
Fuck. All right.
Yep, he is math.
Later.
boy.
Anyway, so it apparently earlier today dropped off the debris shield, and it's now going to drive a few days, which confuses me a little bit on why they didn't drop the debris shield closer to where they're going. But there's going to be a couple days drive to get to the flight zone that they've picked out, and it's going to be a 50-foot long oval patch of land that Ingenuity is going to stay within during its test flights. It looks like it's going to be the start of April before they start doing some small tests, and apparently there is a solar panel attached to Ingenuity that will be helping to charge up its battery between flights. So
I saw that picture of the debris shield being
picture.
left off. It looked like the first time I saw it, I thought it was like an oil pan. I was like,
right?
that's all I thought. I'm like, well, that can't be good. They got to change the oil. Oh, that can't be good.
Yeah, nuclear powered oil.
Yeah, it's like a goddamn oil pan.
And so right there are the enlarged rotors.
Yep.
To help with atmospheric push.
Huh.
So yeah, it's actually stored sideways, and it's going to have to go through some like unorigami to fold back out to its helicopter-esque shape.
How big is it supposed to be? Like, what's the diameter of the actual rotors? Do you know? Quick
don't
Google
know.
search.
I've got it. So the diameter is going to be 1.2 meters.
That's bigger than I thought.
And its rotor speed is 2,400 RPM. It's the tip of the blade will be going 0.7 Mach. And I'm not sure if that's Mach at Earth sea level or whether that's at Mars, but that's really fast.
I mean, it's interesting. It's you kind of think like Perseverance is like a tiny little rover. It's like 10 feet tall, or like 10 feet long, 9 feet tall. It's
It's the
quite
size
big.
that
Oh yeah,
basically
this thing's the
crossover
size of a
SUV.
Jetta.
Yeah, it's
Hide in
huge.
it if you were Mark Watney.
Yeah.
Or what's the name of that woman that keeps on stowing away on aircraft? She can fit in it.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I know
Serial
exactly.
stowaway.
That reference
Yeah,
makes more
that
sense.
woman. I could do an entire episode on her shenanigans.
Her travel record is better than yours right now. I'll just say that.
True. Yeah. Man, I don't think
You're
she
all
gets
about
any-
racking up those travel miles, but she gets them for free.
To be fair, I don't think she's getting any official miles for that. I don't think
Yeah,
she
but
earns
she
elite
redeems them
status
for
for
nothing.
stowaway.
She can't check in and be like, I'm here. I'm getting miles.
Yeah, your butt has to
So-
actually be in the seat. Anyways.
a couple of other cool facts that I learned about Ingenuity. So it has two 13 megapixel color cameras that are going to snap and send images to Perseverance mid-flight. Its other camera that is used for actual navigation is a 0.5 megapixel black and white camera. It also has mini survival heaters to protect Ingenuity during the negative 130 degree Fahrenheit nights.
Otherwise known as a night in Soldotna.
It's close. Maybe Fairbanks.
Fairbanks.
But so I'm curious, just on the battery on this thing. With my non-NASA drones.
I was gonna say Cody's probably the expert on the drone here. So did NASA call you and consult you? I'm
they
sure
should
did.
have, but they did not. Unfortunately,
it has a 350 watt battery. The total landing mass is 1.8 kilograms, or just a little under 4 pounds, and its batteries account for 273 grams, or 9.6 ounces.
Wow. That's
Boom Wikipedia.
That's actually
nice.
A pretty low percentage of the weight.
Yes.
What kind of battery is it?
It doesn't have that immediately in its quick facts.
I'm just curious, just due to the temperature, like the heaters and the temperature issues, and then, the power usage in flight. I would love to have that battery for my drone.
So
NASA, if you're listening,
what's interesting?
JPL, I'm sure they'd be happy to send you all the tech specs.
So what's interesting about Mars and this powered flight is because it has 1/100th of the atmosphere. That means it's the equivalent of flying this drone at 100,000 feet. And in case you're wondering, helicopters don't fly above 15,000 feet because of air density problems. So this is a huge engineering.
Well, I would also
physics problem.
I mean, the ratio of I guess thrust to weight is probably way better than a regular helicopter, but it's a huge. I'm assuming they've already done the math. I would hope.
Oh yes,
and
I've actually watched a medium-length
rover.
documentary about this particular drone. So you're welcome, Brandon, for the save. By the way,
thank you.
I'm actually.
They are.
Internet point.
By the way, it is designed to use solar panels to recharge its batteries, which are 6 Sony lithium-ion cells with 30 to 40 watt hours, or 130 to 140 kilojoules of battery energy. There you go. There's your answer.
Okay, interesting.
I guess the question is, and maybe you explained it. So, are they just seeing if they can do it, or is it just to be the first?
They've done the physics.
It's purely a tech demo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's purely a tech demo.
I mean, I guess in the long term, it'd be nice to be able to fly on another planet.
Yeah, with 90 seconds of flight time, it's not like they're gonna burst any Earth-shattering or Mars-shattering.
I mean, if they get
science
1 second
information,
if they get 1 second of flight time, that's a record, I guess.
I mean,
that'll be the
still
record for Mars, flight on Mars. Yeah.
I'm impressed that the speed of the rotor is actually so slow at 2,400 RPM.
Well, it's
because there's no air resistance.
The blades themselves are so huge.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. I mean, they got to keep it light. I don't know what materials it's made of, but probably carbon fiber. Now that I think about it.
Oh yeah, it's all carbon.
Has to be.
The question I have is, it's supposedly going to be the first powered flight on another planet. The Sky Crane. Do we consider that powered flight?
There was a lot of arguments about that, and the answer was no, because it was a transition vehicle.
Yeah.
I
I would say
tomato
it would
potato.
Be like,
are we talking?
It would be like saying a person in a squirrel suit flew.
A furry.
Be the first glide.
What you're trying to say is a furry.
Tanuki suit Mario.
No. I'm the wing suit thing.
Yeah. The skydiver suit.
Although the mental image of
that would be like calling that human-powered flight.
Oh man, I think I just won the most inappropriate comment of the episode.
Come on, Bullwinkle.
Oh,
Fucking
no. Come on, what?
He just one-upped you. Oh, wait. It goes back and forth.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Scientists. Why? I like that. Why not do it? Maybe we could just to say we can. That's the kind of ingenuity that's probably going to save us or destroy us.
Well,
just
yeah.
to see
I
if
mean,
we
this is like
Or
the
both.
space race. This is the kind of thinking
Yeah.
that got us in there.
And even if it doesn't have any real application on
Yet.
Mars, I'm sure.
Yet.
As I'm saying, but the immediate benefits will be seen within 10 years of whatever they learn will be probably used in helicopter technology here. Like that. That's just what happens. You're investing in the future of humanity by spending these billions of dollars going to other planets.
I personally think that we should be orbiting Venus in a hot air balloon. Or not hot air because it doesn't need it. Just a balloon.
Just a balloon of some sort.
Yeah,
Yes.
balloons
An air
don't
bladder.
work well
It could
when
be.
it's already
we
hot.
have the technology to do a lot of stuff that we can't seem to get our shit together a little bit. But who knows? But it's cool that they're doing this.
Yeah. Hey, look at us. We actually got a normal length episode out of this.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
We were worried about a
impressive.
short one.
It's like 30 minutes is what I was thinking, but we're also full of hot air. We could probably power a lot of stuff
I mean,
here.
we could orbit Venus in a upper atmosphere, no problem.
That's really the end goal. We're the Elon Musks of podcasting. This isn't anything. We're just our whole goal is to get to Venus, guys. That's the only reason our podcast exists. Now you know a little bit about what's under the hood here.
At least you didn't say we're trying to get to Uranus.
Say it right, but yes.
Uranus. It's
Because-
Uranus.
It's
Again,
not
there's no
better
such
because
thing
then it
as-
just sounds like pee.
No, that would be
yeah.
urine.
Uranus.
I don't want to have an IP
God.
telephony conversation.
An old Roman and Greek god.
All right.
Just a schoolboy joke.
All
Maybe
right,
that's a good thing
Brandon.
to end
All
on,
right.
don't you think, Brandon?
Yeah, take us home.
Yep, absolutely. Charlie, where can we find you?
You can find me here every week. You can also find me on Twitch, which I am starting to stream very soon. And as you're going to see in the outro, I'm getting fiber soon, so my upload will be much better. So I'll actually do that occasionally.
Charlie is a man of the future.
Yes.
Just his entire life uploaded.
And I am Milnor on all social media and all gaming platforms. So if you're really interested, you can find me just about anywhere.
Oh,
except for
and we
here.
lost him.
Yep.
Wow.
What was that?
And Charlie is out. That
Yeah.
was perfect timing.
I don't know what just happened.
You can find me everywhere.
What?
You can
the
find me everywhere
fuck?
except for right
What
now.
the fuck just happened?
He doesn't have the
Okay,
fiber
well-
yet. They just
In case
installed it.
in case our
Yeah.
listeners want to know, Charlie timed his video feed and to just kill right when he said he could find us anywhere. So
Yeah, okay.
I
All right, Colton.
love it.
Oh.
Colton, where
God,
can we find you?
Now I got to think of some theatrical thing to do here. But you can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/seeker4761. I stream every Tuesday as well as most
We already know
days
it's
of the
the
week,
amount of milliseconds
sometimes.
that
Yeah.
he worked on his thing.
4.7 seconds.
Yeah.
And we got an hour out of
6'2".
it, so good job.
That extra 12 milliseconds really helped.
know it.
Or
Made a
wait,
difference.
62 milliseconds
matters.
helped. Yep.
I'm also a contributor to the techpirate.net. I have an article coming out hopefully here tomorrow, which would be the 23rd. So we'll
Or
see
the
what happens.
34th.
Or the 33rd or 34th.
Mhm.
34.
Get turned.
I'm also on, well, most gaming platforms under Seeker4761 as well. So check me out, people. Cody, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram. I got 3 new followers. Woo! As Zito Valder. I'm also on My Flight Radar as Roman Geek, and on YouTube as Striving to Hell.
Hell yeah.
Excellent. I am Brandon Vader. You can find me on thetechpirate.net and at YouTube is The Tech Pirate. I'm currently working on a review of my new wireless gaming headset.
Ooh.
Yes.
I picked up
Logitech?
while I was in Denver. So
Wait a
that
second.
should
You
be
came
up
to
next
Denver and
week
you
or
didn't
two.
tell me?
You were in Tucson.
You son of a bitch.
I also went to a zoo. It was just the Cheyenne Zoo.
Hmm.
It was pretty cool. I like feeding the giraffes. They're fun.
You're the only one in the group that can actually reach them.
True.
Yep. Let's see. Yeah, I also just created an Instagram. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but I am bvader86 on that.
Probably
I am
motorcycle.
one of your followers.
Oh.
Yep, probably motorcycling.
Vader 86. That's a
Yes. I
stupid
think there's
picture of
a
you.
whole
See,
picture
viewers
on
and
there.
listeners, you
Well,
just
you've
have
got
to
a
search on
username,
Instagram.
you've got a user picture, and then you've got a family picture. The user picture, yeah. You need
Yeah,
some work
motorcycle.
there, buddy. Welcome to the gram.
Influencers, that's what we all are now.
I don't
Move
like it.
I don't
over
wanna
Kylie
influence
Jenner
anyone.
and all
I
them
want to
peeps.
de-influence people. I want to be an example of what not to do.
Technically, educating people is a way of influencing them, so what's the point of this then?
I'm gonna say,
True.
does anyone
Fair
care
enough.
of what we're learning
Fair
this
enough.
week? But I know some people do. Our listenership is not going up, but it's steady. So some
It's
people
steady
care
at
for some
9.
fucking weird
It's steady at 9.
Eh,
Watch
we'll
out,
do
we're
that.
almost
alright.
2
Now
digits.
it's a little higher than that. Not by much, but not by a factor of magnitude yet. Or Jesus, whatever the word is. Brandon, get us out of
We
here.
appreciate all 9
All
of
right.
you.
Exactly.
Well, I understand now why Charlie was asking for a random language at the start of this.
Hey, at least you picked one you can speak.
Yeah, and this is a terrible Google translation.
Yes, it is. It is awful. But I want you to try
It
to
is.
read it, and then I'll tell you where it really is.
I think I
Just
know
do the
where it
first.
really
just
is,
do the
but
first
sure.
sentence. Just
You
do
know
the
what?
first sentence.
Sure. Vielen Dank, dass Sie sich uns in dieser Folge von This Week I'm Learning erlangwischt haben. Sie finden es überall dort, wo Sie Ihren Podcasts hören. Schauen auf YouTube unter dieser Woche lerne ich. Für Ihre Social Media Besucher finden Sie uns auf Twitter unter @ThisTWIL. God.
You're almost done.
No, I'm done.
No.
This just gets
You
worse.
refresh. I gave the
About the
English
only
translation as
thing
well.
that's correct in there is the very last thing. So thanks for joining us on this episode of This Week I'm Learning. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts as well as on YouTube at This Week I'm Learning. From you social media peeps out there, you can find us on Twitter at ThisTwil. If you'd like to contact us, you can send an email to twil@thetechpirate.net. Bis nach der Woche.
Next week, guys.
Bye. Guess what else I'm not going to be last in anymore?
What?
I'm getting fiber.
You bastard.
You may
It's
as
already
well.
in my front yard. It just needs to be in my house, and I've already paid for it. So
Nice.
Nice.
I'm going to have the fastest internet. No data caps.
Wait,
fuck you,
you're the
fuck
first.
you, fuck you.
Yeah, you're the first.
Yeah,
out of
even
all
I
of
don't.
us.
He
Even
is
I.
the first.
Hey, guess what? Guess what?
My
Guess what?
reign. My reign is over.
$89 a month.
What?
I can't believe that. I
No.
pay
$89 a month.
What,
I
what's
pay
For
this?
121 for
gig?
300 with a data cap.
Yeah, I will be paying $89 for 1,000 with no data cap.
That's ridiculous.
What's the up?
Ting 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 ting.
Yeah, actually, what is the up?
I have no idea what the actual up.
It's
will
probably
be.
like 50 to 100. That's kind of how these ISPs seem to do that.
Yeah,
Which is
maybe,
more than-
but-
Stupid.
Which is more
Yeah.
than
Wait.
It's
Any
more
normal
artificial
person
scarcity. Oh no, you can't have
It's a
upload.
lake.
That's a business plan.
Wait a second. Okay, I want to go back to him. You have 300 down for and a data cap for $129 a month.
and like 75
That's-
up.
I mean, your upload's better than mine, but
I mean, the
otherwise,
75 up.
yeah, your plan is worse than mine, and I live in, ice and
what's his cap?
snowland.
What's your cap, Colton?
2 terabytes.
Oh, okay, never mind. You don't have worse than me.
Yeah, that's where I win.
What's your cap?
My cap is it's now 600 megabytes
Gigs?
or
Oh.
gigs, not megs. Megs would be terrible.
And,
Like,
and
oh, yeah.
Brandon, what's
Say
your
600 gigabytes.
Yeah.
what's your up and down right now?
So I pay. Go ahead, Cody.
My down is 500. My up is 50.
Okay.
And I pay $150 a month.
Okay.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So I pay 70 a month. I get 400 down, 20 up. No data cap.
Right now,
I could get gig, but it would only increase my up to 40, and it would increase my price to like $150 a month.
I
And
So-
that's
could theoretically get gig for an
gig.
extra $10 a month, and I probably would get
Yeah.
a gig.
I'm getting gig in fiber, so it's not a gig.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a gig.
Yeah,
$89 a month, no cap.
It's
That by far kicks
a
our ass.
gig.
Well, I
Yes.
hope to be joining him in the Fiber Club in July
Yeah.
Yeah.
and pay less than you.
I wonder what it would cost to get fiber into my house. Maybe I'll look into that.
You
So
should.
I will say my upfront costs kind of suck. It's $500.
It's not too
100
bad.
150 for the construction, 50 for the install, first month payment, and where's the other money coming from? There's other money, but it's
Probably fees
it was
and
for
shit.
it was $4.99.
Keep all the
That's
receipts for this because this is technically a home improvement, and it can actually
Tax
increase the
deductible.
worth of your house.
And tax deductible
Yes,
too.
it
Yeah.
can. Yep.
Ooh, I certainly will keep those then. Yes.
Hell yeah. All right.
Thank you.
What are we thinking, boys? We ready?
I suppose
God, I
we
hope
are.
so.
We're ready. I just
mean,
gotta
I'm
click
not,
in to
but-
do my.
And to double check,
Oh, wait,
Cody, you
no.
have audio levels.
I have levels. All of
I
the
always check your
Are
levels.
you on the
You're just
level?
like Cody. I don't trust you after that one time. The one time. God, you're like
It's the only time
my
it's
risk
happened.
department. Actually, I'm the only
what?
one in our IT help desk that has not had a ladder incident. Just saying.
Yet.
Yet.
No, I just have not had a ladder incident.
Okay.
All right.
Yet.
Let's see here.
Slash up there. Because you did fall off a ladder once at Internet Colorado.
All right.
I technically stayed on the ladder. I just gouged myself with the satellite antenna bolt. My feet were still on the ladder. I did not fall off of it.
Okay.
It fell.
I thought you fell off once, but it was
Oh,
into a snowbank.
stop it.